right, so Daniel and I are here with Mate, and we are interviewing him today after hitting a good month in his sales career after having a few slower months to the start of the year. So he was averaging around like 5.5K per month at the beginning of the year. And how much, Mate, did you make last month in commissions?
12.1K
Okay, sick.
with
12.1K.
bonuses.
Yep, with the bonuses as well. And also from April to May, your cash per book call went up about 63%, right?
Yeah, correct.
So obviously a lot of lead indicators, you're on the up and up. So the first question I have for you, Mate, is like what would you say? I know we spoke previously before the interview, higher call volume and things like this, but what internally shift for you, maybe the last month or so that led to you getting better results in May?
I just decided that I don't want just to be like at 5 to 10K months because I know I can do better.
Mhm.
And I decided to hit 15K, which at the end didn't happen, but I got pretty close to it.
And when you made that decision, like what behaviors then changed as a result of that?
I got also like even like more proactive. So I kind of also connected with the owner and we talk about like what to do and I created a better like kind of like a follow-up system for people. And so I spent more time on like follow-ups, which also resulted in one um like basically it was a PIF split in like two payments, but one was only in a week after. And it
Mhm.
was after 6 months of following up with this person. So it was also a big eye opener. And at the start of the month, I also got one painful as well, one call calls at 15K. And I think that was also a big reason as well, because on this offer, like historically in all these months I was here, like 17 months previously, like always like last 2 weeks are always like higher cash collected, more enrollments. It's just how this offer is. But I got that, great enrollment at I'm thinking like first or second or third day of the month. And so also the start of the month was stronger and I kind of kept that momentum going for the rest of the month. So that's another point as well.
Good stuff, good stuff. And you were also in Brazil in April. Did you have any like main takeaways there that you think contributed to you maybe pushing the pedal a bit more this month?
I would say one was like having that hypnosis with Daniel to kind of like really like internally I kind of struggle with like the partner objection that like kind of still keeping them in the loop, so to speak. And
Mhm.
I knew that like logically it doesn't make sense, but kind of like emotionally I still felt like some resistance to kind of like keeping on call, like if there's like some resistance like from the prospect about that, or me actually handling the objection. So that helped a lot.
Mm.
And I think also like energy wise, like I felt more confident like on calls
Mm.
because of that, because I knew that if it comes, then I'm more equipped for that. So I feel also like that conviction was stronger as well.
Yeah.
So and then I was like external results like catched up because I had this one painful at the start of the month, and that also helped me to have stronger start and then strong rest of the month.
But in Brazil, we didn't do any like skill work. So what gave you more confidence on calls specifically?
Like to be honest, like the presentation that resonated the most was the one from Tommy. For some reason, like really, it's easy for me to understand like his kind of like way of explaining things. And he has this saying of like, if something is challenging, you should do it. Like if something it feels like a challenge, like something you don't want to do, like that's the reason to do it. Which also I think was the reason like why I got went harder on like follow up because it's something else that like sometimes I had a little bit of like internal like resistance towards like doing that like over a longer period because it didn't really seem to be leading to the results I would be expecting.
Mhm.
So I also used that. That was very helpful. And also seeing other people like you guys or Chandler or Loki like doing really well. That also made me want to compete more and naturally competitive. So that was
Mhm.
another point as well.
Okay, sick. Good stuff. What do you think? I know you've been in the game a, a good bit now, a few years. What do you think has been like the main areas of growth for you recently, both in sales and maybe just like as a person?
Like one thing that, for example, I realized today when I was in the gym is like going 90% and going like 110%, like it has a huge difference because many times like that's going 110% like is exactly like what you need to actually have that breakthrough. So for example, also with like that consistency also shows both in terms of like personal life as well as like professional life.
Mm.
Um, so I was even more consistent. Like sometimes I had days when I didn't eat as much as I should have.
Mm,
And I'm keeping track of like also like I do every second week, I'd like a breakdown of my personal life. And it's like sales, health, relationships.
mm.
And so I also look at my notes and basically I was really, really consistent even with nutrition. I guess it's easier to stay consistent with other things if your health, if you consider it your health as well.
Okay, sick, sick. What about just in general, your experience being in Born to Close? What do you think has been the main value points and takeaways for you?
For me, the one of the probably the biggest value points is like having these live calls because I can go there with a specific question and get an answer and just implement.
Mm.
So that definitely helps a lot. I would say for me that's probably the most valuable part of Borton Close. I don't think that that's really like
You pretty much go
more
to what, all
relevant.
the calls? I know you come to mine.
Yeah, pretty much.
You can
I
check,
can
aren't
I
you?
can double check, but yeah, I would double check. And everything on the calendar as well. So I also like have a coach in terms of like mindset. And one thing that also helped is like really like scheduling everything on the calendar to have like a really clear understanding of like what you're actually doing with your time.
Mm.
Because sometimes like if I don't put it on the calendar and then I look back and I was like I had a free hour there and I probably didn't do anything. That's like what my mindset is, but I actually did things at that time. I just didn't put it in the calendar.
Yeah. I
Mm.
know that you've been in other mentorships. You was actually in the objection box, I think maybe the same time as me, and the same time when Jack worked there. So what do you think the difference is in your own opinion in terms of like what you got there versus I guess what makes us unique and what value have we added that maybe they couldn't?
Like one thing is like having a mentorship channel. I'm not sure if that was in Objection, but I don't remember. I don't think so.
No,
Um, so
I
having
tried
access
to
to
I tried to build some stuff, but no. There was no like group chat other than like Facebook, I think.
Yeah.
yeah, so that was definitely helpful as well. Um,
The Discord's sick,
it's
isn't
like
it? It's super active.
Yeah.
it's active community that's also good. But to be honest, like if I'm being transparent, is like one thing that you're saying is like it's not as much about the mentorship as much about the person actually showing up in their best way. Because
Yeah.
like all the self training can work, and that's I really resonate with it because that's true. It's really how the person actually shows up. But having that calendar, having the like live calls that you're attending like on a um, scheduled basis that also like holds you accountable, holds me accountable. You language, yeah, it should be like I
There you go.
language.
Where'd you learn that?
Uh, I don't know, maybe from you guys, maybe from you before. It was something that like I know for a long time. Um,
Allegedly.
and also I know this might be also one of the things that I didn't mention. But to be honest, like just being in that event like it kind of forced me to like raise my standards because I know that like for example in terms of posting like I'm still not as constant as I need to be as I can be but it's better um and it's kind of that accountability of being there in person and now seeing other people like winning is like if you at that point like talk about hey you'll be at different points but like not getting there and there are like people that you tell them that that's your goal like you're not really kind of um staying behind your words and so I guess that also external accountability that also like was part of the reason why I decided, hey, I will get her the best month.
Mhm.
Um, so
That's
that's
why you're
another
coming
point
to,
as well.
that's why you're coming to Miami.
Um, to be honest, like I have another problem in my opinion, which is like sometimes doing too many things at once. And I already have like some improvements I want to make in terms of like the sales. But I
Mhm.
don't want to have like too many things because then like it's just overwhelming. Like I need to just sit down and like be in my room and just focus on just like actual grind. And I'm planning this month to be even better, like June. Um, so I put even more like role plays on the calendar. So I'm doing role plays with Rohan like consistently. So that should help.
Sick. I guess last question for me, who's better objection handling, me or Bill? I'm only joking. I'm joking.
Uh,
Matt, what would you say to someone who's watching this? They want to make 12K a month like you,
mhm.
and they're unsure about mentorships because maybe they've done a few, hasn't worked out, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I would say that like if they are very honest with themselves, like it was most likely about because of them. And so in the end, like one is like people who pay, they pay attention. And also like I know it for myself. If I pay for something, I take it even more seriously. And I guess you can't really say that you would not take something more seriously if you invest a few thousand into it. So um, from that point, do it. You also will have the support, for questions. Um, but decide to actually go all in because they will give you the best results. And go to calls prepared with your questions prepared, which also um, that's something that Tommy really liked, that I always had questions prepared. And I get lots of value from his calls. Um, so be prepared for calls. And like sooner or later you will get the ROI. That's how I think about it. Because if you even make like 1,000 more on the worst case, like you get the ROI back. So
Hmm.
it's all about how much they trust themselves in the end. Because the guidance is there, but they all need to implement it. So yeah, just go and
I
do it.
see. Last question. What's next for you in terms of maybe income goals or anything else like that?
Yeah, I still have the goal of hitting like 20K. Um, so that's I'm not sure if I should set like 15K as the goal or 20K, but probably better 20K, and I'll at least hit 15. So in that case, maybe I should set 30K as the goal to hit 20.
30, mate.
Yeah, 30, like probably might be better because if you're planning for 30, then you're much more likely to hit 20. So yeah,
Mhm.
that will be the next goal.
Mhm.
30K. Let's go.
I'm still kind of in my head, like I don't know, for some reason 20K is kind of the number that like I will say like I know that like there's probably very little people that make 20K in sales, and you probably are already in like top 1% or so, maybe top five mark, like in worst case. Um,
Yeah, but do you want to
and
be in the top one to
top
five
1%.
percent of comparing that like includes all the normies? Or do you want to be in the top 1 to 5% of like the killers, like the best people? Do you know what I
Like,
mean?
are we talking about the difference between 20 and 30?
No, not even the
Or is
difference
it,
between 20 and 30. It's just like your reference point. Like according to that reference point, I'm in like the top, Daniel and I are in like top 1% of like the whole world, but of income. But
Mhm.
if I compare myself to people making like so much more money than me.
I mean, it's
Like
a short-term goal, right?
like
Like you,
million, like 3
yeah.
million a year profit is the guy I'm like studying right now.
Like
So
the
it's
goals
like,
always increase, and also that was like what happened for me as well. So it's not like the be all end goal. It's more like the next milestone, and then obviously I'll increase it again. So
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know if I think you were in the mentorship, but that's
I
one
actually have
way
a
to
goal
do
of
it, bro.
100K.
That's called like step stoning goals, which is one way to do it. I actually
Mhm.
think it's harder to do that than to have a huge goal and then be like, fuck, I have to operate on a whole new level. And then other goals you just start
Yeah.
hitting. So it's like, let's say to hit 50K a month, you have to become a 50K a month person. Well, then 20K, like, yeah, it's just like part of the game. Like, obviously, I'm gonna hit 20K. But if you try to hit 20K, then it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a different mindset.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe I should plan for like for higher. That's true.
Yeah, you should plan for
Um.
higher because then it allows you to think differently about the situation to get more creative. Because if you do the numbers and you're like, literally, right now I can't even get near that number. All right, that's really good info. How can you then get near it? Do you need to open up more
Mhm.
slots? Do you need to take on another offer? Right? But like
Yeah.
that's why I would like shoot big and then it allows you to think creatively.
So if I'm trying to hit 20K, like what's the recommendation? Like setting goal for 50?
It's more like what's the actual sales goal, high ticket sales? Because like high ticket sales, you can actually like if you say you want to hit 150K, I'm like, okay, cool. Probably not going to do it as a commission only rep. Like you're probably going to
Mhm.
do other stuff. So it's like sales is basically like around 100K is when people cap out, and that's like very rare offers you can hit that. So I personally just would be like 50K is kind of like the gold standard in sales. Like if you hit 50K as a closer, that's sick. And then after that, you probably should get into a higher leverage vehicle because
Mhm.
then you can hit 50K working with way more leverage. But anyways, so I
Yeah.
probably just hit 50K. That's like your main goal. And then you could just have like, other goals that you'll hit on the way there. But I know it seems like similar, but that's actually very different than being like 20K is my goal. And when I hit 20K, then I'll hit 25. Because one, you're forced to become a 50K a month person now. The other, you're just
Mhm.
becoming a 20K a month person and then a 25, blah, blah, blah. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah, good stuff, Mate. Dan, I see you putting in the work, showing up the calls, always got questions. So that's good that you're putting in the work. And we look forward to seeing you in Miami and also hitting that 20K plus a month. So good stuff,
Yeah.
bro, and talk soon.
Yeah. Talk
Good,
soon.
mate. Bye.
All right, cool.